Republic of Kenya declare that the Constitution.
Kenya ranks 109 out of 153 countries on the Global Gender Gap Index 2020.
Kienda kama maufisadi wa katiba ilisema mtu anaweza fungwa akiwa na ufisadi, na hatujapata hata mtu mmoja amefungwa na hiyo katiba.
Tulichagua katiba na tukaona inatupeleka vizuri, lakini wakati wa mwishowe tunaona hii katiba ambaye tuliitafuta ya 2010 haifai juu inafaa, lakini inatumiwa kwa njia isiyofaa.
Jupesa ya kisima waliiba, that's the damn truth. Sudden death is viewed kama spoiled votes, that's the sad truth. Hakuna food, shelter, mata clothing, that's the naked truth. Mayouth hawana fare kwenda job interview. Politician wewe kile na kusumbua ni mafuta ya ndege, that's the plain truth. Life ain't easy, that's the hard truth.
Commemoration of 11 years since the promulgation of the 2010 Constitution began with a countrywide series of counties people assemblies.
That euphoria we need to discuss so that euphoria is reparted.
On the Constitution of Kenya 2010 from August 24th to August 27th, 2021.
People's Assembly is the vehicle through which we will exercise the solemn duty of restoring democracy.
The assemblies were held in different counties, culminating into the National Katiba Day Convention on August 27th.
Sisi ndio tumeweza kuleta change na nimeshukuru kwa sababu ya mama ambao wako hapa.
Tarehe 27 Agosti mwaka 2010 tulizindua katiba mpya. Wale lugha nyingine wanasema promulgation of a new constitution. I don't know why such a day has never been declared a public holiday.
In Nakuru County, the Katiba's People's Assembly provided a platform for dialogue among key stakeholders who took the opportunity to share experiences, harness lessons, and examine good practices in the last 11 years since the promulgation of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 on August 27th, 2010.
The Assembly has been missing in action in terms of providing checks and balances to the executive. It has always not performed its works in terms of implementing the reports by Auditor General. Each and every year, we have reports by Auditor General providing recommendation for good governance. But the Assembly has not always acted on the reports.
In equitable development meaning that there are some areas, you remember the white areas that we mentioned, and the African native reserves. If you check the development landscape of the country, we have sort of not broken that yet. The areas which are the white influence were ahead, the areas where the African native reserves were behind in terms of development and provision of services, and we are trying to catch up with that.
Kwa hii long-term issues and institutional reforms, tulikuwa na vitu kadha wa kadha. One, we were to look at our institutions and we were to reform them. The national police, the electoral body, unaelewa? And fundamentally, we were to look at, does this constitution serve us? What are the systemic weaknesses of the constitution?
In light of the recent occurrences of attempts aimed at amending the Constitution through Building Bridges initiative, stakeholders held that Kenyans must stand in solidarity to defend the Constitution of Kenya.
If it's the young people who are saying this constitution does not work for us because of ABC, I would support that movement because they were not there when it was made. But you cannot have these barons who have been playing games with the constitution from, the 70s, now coming and saying oh, we need to change it. It's your generation that should be raising those issues and not them.
Now, I want to tell the youth of this country that we have an opportunity within the next 1 year to set the ground for the future of this country. Without us looking at the leaders that we are going to choose, we should not swing and swim in the euphoria of politics, singing and praising politicians for the sake of the little handouts or the little glory that we get the hype during politics. But look at beyond the election of the 2022. These political parties are supposed to be the vehicles to guarantee us the rights and the representation that we need to have.
Former Subukia Member of Parliament Koigi Wamwere during the celebrations regretted that 11 years since the Constitution of Kenya 2010 was promulgated, Kenyans are still grappling with poverty, poor governance and absurd political processes that have thrown this country into turmoil.
Leo inashangaza ya kwamba wakati ni mwaka wa 11 wa katiba tuliyo nayo, hatuna sherehe za kitaifa za kushangilia au hata kutambua ushindi ambao ulipatikana wakati tulipata katiba ya 2010. Nasema hivyo kwa sababu kabla ya hiyo katiba kupatikana, kwa muda mrefu tulikuwa tumeipigania. Kuna watu ambao walikufa wakipigania katiba hiyo, na kutokuwa na wakati wa kuikumbuka nadhani ni makosa makubwa. Sisi tumeogopa kutaja ukabila katika katiba yetu hii ya 2010, na mpaka wa sasa ukabila umeongezeka vibaya sana, hata umevuruga utawala wa ugatuzi, kwa sababu kusema ya kwamba kwanza tumeua utaifa ili tujenge ukabila. La pili, tumetekeleza ukabila bila ya kusema hivyo katika magatuzi karibu yote.
As we celebrate Katiba 10, what we are seeking is a new energy, is a new commitment to defend, to uphold the Constitution as we are told in Article 10. So what then would improve the quality of governance? The people you elect, the character of the men and the women you elect, the basis upon which you elect those characters.
In a clear narration of the journey the Constitution of Kenya took, how it was presented to the Attorney General of Kenya on 7th April 2010, how it was officially published on 6th May 2010, and was subjected to a referendum on 4th August 2010, the Executive Director, Midrift Hurinet, urged Kenyans to reject any attempts to spoil the will of the people.
Msibadilishe chochote ambacho kinahusiana na uchaguzi mwaka moja kwa uchaguzi. So this constitution, vile tunasema brothers and sisters, imepatikana kwa mambo mengi. Watu wamekufa, watu wamepoteza kazi. I remember there was a journalist called Gishere who was thrown out of a window 15 stairs up. Alianguka chini kama amevunjika. I remember my friend Patrick Mutai, his father, being picked from a nation, being tortured. If you read his book, you will cry tears. The late Mirugi here used to tell us what he had undergone. He lost a lot of time in jail. Angetengeneza mali. Unfortunately, akatoka akakuwa mbunge 2002, but by 2006 he passed on. So those are things that we cannot joke about.
So thank you very much for being present. na usidanganywe hata hizi killings zina target tu mwizi, utaangushwa. Ukifight police brutality kwa capacity ya wakili utaangushwa. Kiubaguzi ukiingia kwa street kuchallenge uchaguzi utaangushwa. Ukidemand for better quality education kama wanafunzi utaangushwa. Ukidemand pay risk allowance kama muuguzi utaangushwa. Ukiprotest unyanyasaji ya kanjo kwa streets kama mchuuzi. Hizi killings zina chuki. Polisi ni mtu atakuwa ukimudhi, atakuwa akiwa mudi, atakuwa on and off duty. So transfer ni za nini kama huyo ofisa kazi ya vutu?
It's really going to be impossible to fight and actualize the 2/3 gender rule until we go back to the drawing board and see that once we empower the woman, we've empowered the community, until we go to the position that we say that when we empower the woman, it's not a matter of competing but complementing the leadership positions that are there, the positions both politically and even just locally that are there. We're still going to face these barriers.
11 years later, the beliefs, the hope and the aspirations of Kenyans is still alive and well embedded in the constitution, and the rise to defend it from people aspiring to mutilate it.
Uwezekano mkubwa ya kwamba tunaweza tukarudi nyuma tukajipata pale tulimokuwa enzi zile, na kwa hivyo ni lazima tuwe macho na tuwe wajasiri wa kuongea kama tulivyoambiwa ya kwamba ni mojawapo ya madhambi makubwa kutoweza kuongea dhidi ya mamlaka, kwa sababu ukiogopa mamlaka ukose sauti ya kuambia ya kuache, yatakukandamiza na yatakuua.
Kenyans were further reminded of the preamble of the Constitution of Kenya, which introduces us to the spirit of the Constitution and how powerful it speaks to Kenyans.
We, the people of Kenya, adopt, enact, and give this Constitution to ourselves and to the future generations. God bless you, Orugenzi.
Jesus alibetraywa na kiss. Huko hapo na jichocha julipewa hug. Wajinga nyinyi. So dear Mr. President, uliomba kura na ukapata. Sisi tulipata rais lakini hatuna uhuru. Na tuna feel useless unless tunapiga kura ama tunaenda kulipa ushuru. Kwa nchi mwananchi analipa standing charges kwa kila kitu. Ndio pia pate sitting allowance. Kwa nchi hakuna kazi. Mayouth kila mahali na video wamejiandika kama floss in mauano. Dear Mr. President, do you know the leaders of tomorrow are dying today? Niggas tu hakuna, but everyone has something to say. Manifesto hope hazina, our leaders have resorted to pray. Dear Mr. President, let's talk about morals. Tunaishi pia kwa nchi pia your deputy yako na mavice. So nani unaangalia better leader than you? Na profile yako ya WhatsApp ni more useful than your current DP.